Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Good morning, good morning, good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Sterling. Let's see, putting in the jobless claims. We'll get to those in a second. Good morning, John. Thank you for tuning in. Oh yeah, Treasury yields are 30 yields. The 30-year yield is climbing. The 10-year also. More homes hit the market. 7% mortgage rates. Interest because my home hit the market and no, we had showings yesterday, but we were at 6.8. Like somebody's going 6.8 versus 7. No, that takes me out. We'll see. We will see. We will see. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that the listings post not around here. There's only one other thing that popped up within my immediate, not even immediate area. There's so few homes for sale around me in my price range. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting. NVDA had their earnings yesterday, up 13.2%. Interesting enough, we'll take a look at that. Hitting after hours, hitting the full target on the double and then reversing with earnings. So, by the way, if things hit targets after hours or pre-markets, I have no problem with unwinding them. It's just we don't use that data for to structure stuff. But you look, if your trade hits a target or a stop, you can be out. There's no saying, oh, it didn't hit it during market hours. I can't because I can put in resting orders that can get executed after normal market hours. So, good morning, Martinez. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Heinrich. The world is ending. I have no cell service. So, there's been a lot of cell outages. Good morning, Eric. Did you say good morning, Royal Palms? Or are you just asking for stocks? If you didn't say good morning first, oh, there it is. I didn't see your good morning. I'm sorry about that. I didn't see it. Well, he did say good morning. Sorry about that. We can look at Apple and Planters Peanuts. All right. Chicago Fed National Activity Index still in contraction mode. Initial jobless claims better than expected. Continuing jobless claims better than expected. 4-week average better than expected. So all those numbers with jobless claims, with all these companies announcing layoffs and doing layoffs, there's no pop in them. I don't know. Yes, I was wrong. I was incorrect. One of the things when you are incorrect, especially as a trader or investor, you admit it and move forward. Hey, that trade didn't work out. My good morning, me missing the good morning, was a bad trade. Good morning, Legion Reaver. Good morning from Miami. Options 22. When will you move to Arizona again? Well, we have a place rented in Arizona, and I'm just gonna, as soon as this house sells, then we're moving. We are moving, so could be in the next. It just depends, but it's not gonna be too long. Good morning. Yes, NVIDIA saved the markets. All right, what do we have? We have the S&P Composite Manufacturing and Services coming out 15 minutes after the cash open. Still expected to all be in expansion, so watch for that. Existing home sales, we got Fed Jefferson speaking. We got the crude numbers today at 10 a.m. Central. We got some 4 and 8 week bill auctions. We got the mortgage rate info coming out. Still, it's going to jump up from 6.77. We got Harker, Cook, Kashkari, and Waller speaking. The only one is Harker is before the cash close. Everything else is after the cash close and when even the futures are closed, except they'll be reopened before Waller speaking. Tomorrow is nothing. S&P 500 besides NVIDIA. Is that correct? Only up 11% now. Microsoft, but everything riding. Look at the mega caps riding on the coattails of NVIDIA. It's back to buy everything. The market is saved. It's literally buy everything if it's tech or comm services related. And even Lilly, buy everything. Lilly's bouncing back. So That's where we sit there. Technology, comm services, and consumer cyclical. So it's definitely a risk on day. It's a risk on day, as they say on the mainstream financial news services. We're going to take some more risk and buy technology, comm services, and consumer cyclical. Fed cuts, pause, and only 3 cuts priced in through December. So dropping for that 4 back to 3 cuts in line with what Powell was targeting. And we're almost back to extreme greed again. Where's my Coco saying, see, buy the dip? Moderna was a beat this morning and a slight gap up. But also there's a little mini double bottom in that. The big thing, though, was NVDA yesterday. And after the close, Carvana, Block. Not a lot. And tomorrow, Warner Brothers. Just not a lot. Nothing. I mean, the big thing was NVIDIA all week. All right. Let's just get NVIDIA out of the way because it did come down. It traded 650 was the target. It got down to 645 post-market. And then earnings came out and 750. 750. So 758, 58, then 783 are the next targets higher. The next key targets, we're also getting the cycle bottoms. I mean, this would have been a percent B buy, but we're, well, well, you sort of had to do that after hours with earnings. But that's what it set up yesterday afternoon. So if you were, this was a legitimate trade. If once it broke through there, you know, with good earnings, I mean, they blew earnings away. And their guidance is very strong. At one point, though, their strong guidance is going to turn up. We just don't know when that is. So, you know, it didn't even make it back to the full rotation zone on the weekly in here. So we're going to go on a tear again. Let's see, S&P. S&P, we had the potential double. Now, obviously, turned into a triple. So next key targets, 5,082.75, 5,099 to 5,107. And then we have, what's the final target? 5,134. Above 5,134, that could take the massive potential double off the table. Remember, a long way from triggering. It's just important to keep that in mind from a bigger perspective. So daily cycles back to the bottom. Weekly cycles could be in for a fake out down move and just keep chugging along. So, there's no other major topping patterns yet in sight. So we'll have to just keep trading with the trend. And by the way, of the break above yesterday's high, the percent B yesterday was at what? Minus 0.04. So the break above the high with the follow through is the percent B buy, but you had to be doing it with the market back opening last night. So just wanted to point that out for the people trying to learn that strategy. Inflation is clearly driving markets up. I gave up trying to short months ago. We had a potential double top pattern, never even triggered. Buy the dip. There's Chris. UBS cuts price target to 800 from 850. Let's see. What else have I missed? Hey, Richard, good morning. I do not see the value of looking at Fed rate cuts chart. When changes, it does not seem to affect market. It's interesting to see what the market's pricing in for me. At least from my perspective, I'm going to look at it because it's interesting to see if the market gets overly dovish or hawkish versus what the Fed is stating. How easy to sell a house in the U.S. at the moment? House activity is still cruising with high. Around some areas like my sister who has a place for sale in Florida they're getting no activity. Around me, houses are flying off the market within a week. It just depends. I mean, around my sister, they're still building. Around me, unless you're buying a house, tearing it down and building on that lot again, you are landlocked. There is nothing. There's a lake on one side and everything else has been built for many, many years. So Even there's converted some open lots into, hey, you can build on them now, but an open lot under half an acre is going for over $1 million just for the open lot. Let's put it that way. And then you're slapping a house on it. So, Mike, there's hope for the holders. The Nikkei is above 39,000 for a new all-time high for the first time since '89. 34 years. Yeah, well, if you had that, hopefully you didn't have to retire in that time. Yeah, again, that's long term. I have no problem with stocks. Generally, they're a good buy in the long term. The timing is for, I don't want to go and sit through, because this market at some point will have another 50% drawdown. And if you have to retire and you just had a 50% drawdown, well, you're not retiring. So, especially if you're younger, yeah, you can sit through stuff. But, if you're 60 and above, you don't want to suffer, and I'm not 60, but you don't want to suffer through major drawdowns. Dollar rising will pull back the market. The dollar pulled back, and we got a pretty good. We got a potential reversal candle. I'm going to have to see if that follows through. It got dumped in the European Open, and then broke below some key levels, but snapping back. But dollar strength has not hurt the market at all. So those are your targets going into the open today for the S&P. Keep an eye roughly right around this 50-50 area. 50-50 is the first key support. Then you have, let's just take a look right here, going into the open. And then we roughly have about 50-40 is the next level. The line I took off before that, right around 50-40. It's also 25% harmonic. The NASDAQ, which turned into that channeling pattern, is trying to break above the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, the key closing area you got to watch today is 17,840. A close above there, then I'd be looking for a retest of 18,028. So 18K roughly around there. And then possibly on to new highs. But this close above 17,840 is very key today. So that's where we sit right now, looking at the open. Little pause going into the opening price action, but the two levels I will be looking at is roughly right around 17,855, and then my major support coming in at 7,790 to 17,800 is my major support level. Below that, you're looking at 17,723. To the upside, minor resistance where it just stalled out to 17,935 area, and then 1828 is very key resistance. Above there, I'd just be targeting the recent high price action from Monday, the 12th. And daily cycles getting to the bottom. So, Dow, looking to break out of here. There's no more potential double on the table. This is now a multi-top. So the next key levels, I'm going to revise this now. Let me take those off. Let me take these off. Oops, these off. There we go. The next targets for the Dow. Come on, give me my template. 39,225 area, then 39,440 area. Those are going to be the next targets for the Dow. Also, cycles coming back up. We could easily get to overbought again in the Dow. Key support coming in right now, right around 38,856, and then major support 38,700. The Russell, have to be watching this one. No real pop in the Russell yet, but you start breaking below 1987. Very key level is this 1967, again on a closing basis. You close below that, will have broken the flagging channel pattern, and below the 50 and below the 62.5 on a closing basis, and that would not be good for the Russell. Other than that, watch for, again, keep an eye on yesterday's high area if it starts rallying above that. That is about 2014. The VIX, big drop after NVDA earnings, back again. Still, I'm going to be watching now 1380. 1380 has really got to start dropping below to really get some movement on. 1380. I don't know why that keeps popping up. DAX breaking out. There you go. The DAX broke out. 17,430. Next target. If it keeps chugging along, you have 17,737. That little mini double, the Slavy double never triggered, rising on the rotation zone, basing, pulling back to the rotation zone, and then breaking out today. So, not much else to talk about with the DAX. The rising lower highs or lower lows kept going, and it broke out, based there, and then rotated back up. New breakout there. The notes, little bounce back after a little downward pressure. There's no more potential double bottom on there. We still have the bigger double top in place. Next target still 109 area. Yield was rising, pulling back a bit now. But your target still 4.395. And at this point now, there's no more double top in that. It's gotten two multi-tops. So we're looking at your very key support is back at about 4.2. 10 twos. First target officially hit on the double top. So next target is minus 37.5. Dollar index, you had the major reversal. This it dumped and then reversed. So gonna keep an eye, especially with yesterday's high, if this keeps going, because that could be a really strong shake and bake move. Got people going short and then quick reversal going long. You can see that during the, here you go, the European Open area time. Dump and then phew. So, crude. So, dollar index, again, it broke below that, this key level, but it doesn't look like it's going to close below that unless something really triggers. So, I'm still watching that 103.20 on a closing basis. Crude. This, again, multi-top. So, any pullback, 76.30. Other than that, this is setting up a higher base. Now, this could be rolling over, but cycles are still going down. You know, as long as it doesn't really break below that 76.30, there's not a fantastic short setup on the bigger time frame. In the shorter term time frame for more intraday traders, you can watch 76.70. That's your key. So that's your first level of key support. Natty gas, we popped up yesterday. I'm watching for the secondary reaction with cycles getting to the top. So that's going to be interesting to watch for a backfill and possibly a stronger bottoming pattern. Gold, nothing. Gold, we had the little mini double turning into a triple. And yeah, gold just hasn't done crap recently. Silver, you still had the trigger double, which has not done anything. Copper, which we talked about yesterday, still has this confirmed but not triggered mini double top. But not triggered. It needs a trigger on a 4-hour basis now. The yen, looking to rotate back up, but still in the intervention territory, but nothing going on there. And the yields are not doing anything here. So I pay attention more to the yields before just the yen level based off intervention. The euro, the spike up and the reversal lower. So I'm going to be watching where it closes in relation to this 108.30 level today. Spiders, again, never triggering the double, going into a triple top with today's open. Trading 503.87. So next targets 505.10, 506.70 are the key targets. Key support coming in about 502. And then your major support level 499. The Qs. The Qs. The key level to watch for on a closing basis is 432.57. Targets 434.76, 436.95. Those are your two key targets. And then you're looking back at the recent high area. We're going to change this, though, around with the bigger pullback. We're going to go, if it does break out to new highs, not today, of course, but you're looking at 442 and 444.75. Again, if you break below 432.50, you're at 430.39, which is what I'd watch. Bitcoin, trying to roll over a bit, but remember it's still within the rotation zone, so any backfill pattern, I just watch closer to the bottom of the rotation zone at about 449.200. We already looked at NVDA. Tesla, not much going on since triggering the inverse head and shoulders. Stop reduction not hit, but nothing's really changed there. What else? All-time highs and everything. Don't fade it until there's decent topping patterns, and then you want to wait for the bigger ones. ES and X fib level down is 50.54. Why do you say 50 is key? Wouldn't 54 be key support before 40? The next fib level. Well, I'm watching a combination of things with price levels. 50.40 is a very key price level. We have 50.54. Okay, that's your first level support. If it breaks there, I'm looking at 50.40. 50.40 is key. It's also a shorter term key price level. Do not ignore that 50.40 area. Okay, right here, let me put the line back on the chart. This is actually a very key price area here. It's harder. You have to go down in time frame, but if you watch the price action, that 50.40, and it's also reinforced by the 25. But the first area is this, about say 50.51 to 50.54. If you sell off into the open, that's the first area I'll be watching for a pullback, and then it would be the 50.40 area. That's how I came up with that. You don't just want to blindly use harmonics. I use them in conjunction. I try to find the clusters, and that just happens to be a very key cluster. Yeah, everyone left left Tesla and went to NVIDIA. mRNA, you can see here, double bottom here. So that could get a pop against the rotation zone still, but it was a beat in earnings and EPS. You're welcome, Christoph. What was that in the website for the gamma flip of the S? Oh man, I'm blanking out right now. Somebody else could jump in on that. I just had my mind just went completely tier 1 alpha. Look at the S&P as it broke all-time high after COVID crash. We're doing that again. Wouldn't be surprised to see 560 spot. We could. Again, there's nothing stopping this market yet. There's nothing stopping, but you know what? I am not in the super aggressive. It's more in the trailing mode, especially you see. Look at this. Look, we had rotation zone dip back in January. Rotation zone dip and buy. Rotation zone dip and buy. Rotation zone dip and buy. Now this is getting waning momentum. It's really got to start pushing higher. So it's getting, see, this is a double dip right here. But again, there's no topping pattern. And at least the trailing stop. To give it some room, this is a very key low from Wednesday. Very key low. So that's a great area for a shorter term trailing stop. Okay, stock requests. Thank you. Apple. Keep an eye. Yesterday's did not close above that. So keep an eye right now. Apple's going to pop up, but I'm still watching for the pop and then a potential roll over in Apple. It's really got to start getting above 187 before I can get into. I'd be looking at other things other than Apple from the bullish case, and it's still holding the key support. In the short term, your key level is 184. Cycles are at the bottom, so if you're looking for something interesting trade, I'd be watching a break above 184. But again, can't tell you specific trading advice. What else? I know there was Blanchard's Peanuts. There we go. Palantir. Palantir. Here's another example. This confirmed a double. This was an upward close. Remember, Bob and I do not use upward closes to trigger. We need a downward close. Okay? So gapped down but closed up. So it's still no gap, no red bar closing on double top. There's the open. Your key level to watch for is really about 24.29 now on a closing basis. But that's can be used intraday, and there's a gap left behind to 24.44. What else do we have? Coin. Oh, you wonderful. Yeah, that could be a little breakout move. Have to see. That's a longer term. It's okay. That's an okay cup and handle. All right, let me peek in at the S&P. All right. So that 50.51 to 50.54 as I'm watching for support with a little dumping into the open. Let's take a look at the tick. The tick, not a super strong open. More, not even above, not much above 400. So I'm going to be watching to see if that levels holds as the tick pulls back to the zero area. That 50 to 50. See here if this holds in the short-term opening. With that, I've got to run. I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I will see everyone tomorrow morning. Bye for now.